Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Steven, and in dedication of the new single from Bryan Adams that I heard this week, and I'm getting excited for the new tour, I decided to go through my collection and pick out my favorite Bryan Adams albums. Some are, I guess no brainers. They're his biggest hits, and some will be like, are considered misfires or missteps in his career, but I still enjoy them for one reason or another, and I decided to make my list, and here we go. I'll start it off, and this is in no order, but I'll go with 1987's Into the Fire. This is the follow up to Reckless, which was I think 7.5 million units sold worldwide. He became a household name internationally. So there was a lot of heat and a lot of expectations for the next album. And he comes out with this album. It's a little bit darker in tone, a little bit more serious. Some people were calling it, his Nebraska or his Darkness at the Edge of Town, a Bruce Springsteen-esque kind of album. It's not that kind of album. It is. There are some moments of maturity on here, but it in no way is that kind of album. You have Native Son, which is about the Native Indians. You have Remembrance Day, which is about war veterans. Heat of the Night is on here. Into the Fire, which is one of my favorite Bryan Adams songs. And there's a great version on a live album called Live, 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 where he slows it down. And you really get to hear what this song is about. And I think you owe it to yourself to listen to this one and that one time in your life. One of my favorite tracks of all time is, Hearts on Fire. I really like Rebel, which was also covered by Roger Daltrey on a solo record, but I like Bryan Adams' version here as well. So if I had to pick favorite tracks, Heat of the Night, Into the Fire, Rebel, Hearts on Fire, and Remembrance Day, I would probably pick my top picks on this. Not as catchy as Reckless by any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to say this is a masterpiece, but if you're looking for a different side of Bryan Adams, this is the way to go. Next up, in the same vein, a little bit more mature, a little bit more darker in tone, we have, I believe this is 1998's On a Day Like Today. This is him going through the grunge period. He kind of knows he can't do the little poppy, happy songs, so he comes up with this album. It's a little bit darker, a little bit more mature. So you have How Do You Feel Tonight, a very haunting album opener. You have On a Day Like Today, which is about optimism, but it's one of those slow burn songs. The first time you hear it, you go, it's all right. By the time you hear it the fourth time, you go, wow, what a great track. This is so good. It's kind of like U2's Beautiful Day. First time I heard it, I really liked it. But over the years, I've really was like this one of the best songs they've ever done, and it keeps growing on me. And On a Day Like Today does the same. Fearless is about somebody having an affair. It's a darker tone, kind of like Run to You. I called this Run to You Part 2. It's the same kind of message. There's When You're Gone with Melanie C. I love that. Inside Out is a great ballad. If I Had You is a great song. And Where Angels Fear to Tread is my favorite ballad off here. A little bit more mature, a little bit more mid tempos, not as rock as we were accustomed to, but you owe it to yourself to listen to this once. Then we have 2015's Get Up. Jeff Lynne behind the board. Jeff Lynne is, the singer songwriter of ELO. He produced, Flaming Pie from Paul McCartney, Cloud Nine from George Harrison, Tom Petty. The guy is a master behind the boards. The thing with this is, this doesn't sound like a Bryan Adams album, although he did say that this is his official follow up to Reckless and his rockiest album since. It's a rock album, but it's a tribute, I guess, to like his influences, like Buddy Holly. This is very like rockabilly. This is stuff he probably grew up with as a child. So this is that kind of album, but it does sound nothing like a Bryan Adams album. This sounds like a Jeff Lynne record, or how Jeff Lynne kind of sounds now. His more modern albums, like Jeff Lynne's ELO, stripped down. This is that. I could see Jeff Lynne covering a song or two on a future release, and it probably would work, and probably people would know it was a Bryan Adams song. So if you can get used to that, it's Bryan Adams singing to Jeff Lynne's, vision. It's worth a listen. Next up, we have 1983's Cuts Like a Knife. This is where his Heartland rock and ballads fit in. He's finally found the formula that works. It clicks on here. He gets noticed. This is I think it's about 300,000 copies in Canada, or triple platinum in Canada. You have, I liked on here, Take Me Back is one of my favorite songs. This Time, Straight from the Heart is a beautiful ballad. Cuts Like a Knife is the title track, is fantastic. Great rocker. I'm Ready. There's a great version on an Unplugged album. You need to hear that too. Um, Don't Leave Me Lonely, I like a lot. And then The Best Is Yet to Come, the album closer. Great tracks. This is where it comes together and he becomes the Bryan Adams that we know. Next up is Waking Up the Neighbors. This was in 1991. This is after the misfire of Into the Fire, and he's got to come back strong. Goes with Mutt Lange, who's been known for, I believe AC/DC, Def Leppard, Pyromania, and Hysteria, which were mega sellers. Does this sound a little bit like a Def Leppard record? Yeah, the background vocals, the harmonies, very Def Leppard-X on a lot of songs. But catchy as all heck. There's so many great songs on here. I mean, if you want to have a party, this is the album to put on. Is Your Mama Gonna Miss You? Hey Honey, I'm Packing You In. Can't Stop This Thing We Started. Thought I Died and Gone to Heaven. I liked also Vanishing, House Arrest. There Will Never Be Another Tonight is a great rocker. And of course, there's Everything I Do It For You, which was the monster ballad. I think it stayed on the charts at #1 for about 7 weeks. It was part of the Robin Hood soundtrack with Kevin Costner. This became one of his massive, massive. I think this is his last mega selling album. And for good reason. It is catchy. Every song is earworm. And you'll love, every day you'll find a different song that you'll love. Every time I go back to this, I go, I didn't like it then, but I love this song now. Like, it's like a greatest hits package in an alternate universe. And that's how I'll call this one. Next up, surprise. This is an album I could not believe how good it is. This is 2022's So Happy It Hurts. This is, I think it was recorded during COVID. He's kind of reinvented his vigor, his desire to make real good tracks, catchy songs. And So Happy It Hurts, great track. The more I hear it, the more I like it. Never Gonna Rain, a great little blues number. You Lift Me Up is great. On the Road is a great rocker. Kick Ass is a really kick-ass song. I loved it. There's a nice little intro. It's really funny. You'll like it. I Ain't Worth Shit Without You, great little rocker. These Are the Moments That Make Up My Life, another great album closer. This is probably the most fun I've had on a Bryan Adams album since Waking Up the Neighbors in 1991. Took a long time, but he delivered the goods that we knew we had another album in him that's going to kick your butt. This is it. Search this out. You will not be disappointed. And if I'm going to have to end things, you're going to have to end things on the way. This is the album that started it all. This is the one that put him on the map everywhere. It's Reckless from 1984. Another greatest hits package in an alternate universe. I love almost every song on here. I think the only one I don't really care for anymore is She's Only Happy When She's Dancing. Run to You, a dark, dark song, but it's catchy as all heck. Somebody, Summer of 69, Heaven, Kids Gonna Rock. It's Only Love with Tina Turner. This has it all. This is where it began for a lot of people, and for good reason. This is one of the things where everything clicks and everything works splendidly. Do yourself a favor. If you haven't heard this yet in your lifetime, you got to. If you're Canadian and don't know this album, what has happened to you? Do yourself a favor, search these out. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. Some you might not like. I mean, I think On a Day Like Today and Into the Fire are not exactly, quintessential Bryan Adams albums, but I like them for different reasons. You let me know what you like. Do you have these albums? Have you ever heard of these albums? I definitely would like to hear from you. This is Steven from the Roundtable with my favorite Bryan Adams albums, and I'll be seeing you soon.